Today we are going to continue to discuss measuring to the nearest fourth inch. And you'll notice that I have my ruler again. From the previous video, I marked our 1/4 inch, our 2/4, 3/4, and then 1 inch is also equivalent to 4/4. And so I have 4 shapes on my screen that we are going to measure one side of each shape for this lesson today. And so I'm going to take my square, my large square, and I'm going to move my large square up to my ruler at the top. And so as you learn to measure, you want to always align it with the 0-inch mark on your ruler or the first mark on your ruler. And again, if you have a ruler at home, I would recommend taking a look at your ruler so you can see a ruler kind of in your hands and how that looks along with the ruler on my screen. And so as I align this, you'll notice that the side of the square goes from the 0-inch mark all the way to the 1-inch mark. And so I'm going to move my square over here, and I'm going to take my marker, and I'm going to, I'm going to create a text box, and I'm going to put 1 inch for the length of the side, one side of the square. And obviously we know a square has 4 sides of equal length. Now I'm going to take the smaller square. I'm going to bring it up to my ruler. And again, I align it with a 0-inch mark. And this time I'm going to take a moment to look and mark on my ruler where the side of the square ends. And so just beyond this mark is the end of the square side. And so I'm going to move that back over here. And so I've placed my mark on the ruler, and you'll notice that if I think about my 1/4 of an inch and I mark these, you'll have the 1/4 inch mark, the 2/4 of an inch mark, and then here would be the 3/4 of an inch mark. And since the side of the square is a little bit shorter in length than the 3/4 of an inch mark, similar to rounding, we're going to round up. And so I'm going to say it is about 3/4 of an inch in length. And so next to my small square, I'm going to say about 3/4 of an inch for the length of one side. And I use that word about because it's an approximation. It's not exactly 3/4 of an inch in length. And so I don't want to give incorrect information by saying that it is exactly 3/4 when it's not the full 3/4 of an inch in length. Now, moving to my 2 trapezoids on the left side of my screen, I'm going to start with my large trapezoid. And again, I'm going to move my large trapezoid, and I'm going to measure the length of the longest side. And so I'm going to align that with my 0-inch mark, and then looking at my screen, you'll notice that the trapezoid pretty much hits that 2-inch mark. And so I'm going to move my trapezoid back, and I'm going to label the length of the longest side as 2 inches. And so 2 inches in length for the longest side below. Okay, and then moving to my smaller trapezoid, I'm going to again move my trapezoid, and I'm going to measure that longest side. And so for this one, I'm going to again align it with a 0-inch mark, and this time I'm going to mark the spot where my trapezoid side ends on the ruler. And so again, I've marked it there, and that's just a helpful tool so that I feel confident that I have the correct mark when I look back at it again. And again, I'm going to move my trapezoid over here. And so my trapezoid mark landed here. And I'm going to think about this being the 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 of an inch. Then we have 1 inch. And again, my markings are 1 and 1/4. And then we have 1 and 2/4 here. And so it's right in between those. And so I'm going to round up, and I'm going to label this as 1 and 2/4 of an inch in length.